Hi, thank you for meeting with me. My name is Miss Johnson. I am Jaren's algebra teacher at Jackson Middle School. I just wanted to meet with you for a few minutes and go over a couple of the things he's been struggling with and some strategies that I think will really help him, not only in my class but in his future math classes. So just a little bit of background. Jaren is 14 years old. He was a retention student in kindergarten, so he's a little bit older than his peers and still just a little bit behind them academically. He still has just a tiny bit of difficulty forming sentences if he doesn't really know what he's talking about, or if he's super passionate about something he's talking about. So he still needs just a little bit of help trying to figure out what he's saying. But other than that, he's an amazing kid. He's an awesome kid, and I'm really enjoying having him in my class. His IEP lists his primary exceptionality as autism spectrum disorder, and his additional exceptionality is speech language impaired. He's up with the kids. He runs around with them. He doesn't really play with them or interact with them, but he's out there with them. His teachers list him still as he does parallel play, which just means that he goes out there and he runs around with them. He just doesn't interact with them. But other than that, socially he's a little bit, he keeps to himself, but I think that has a lot to do with he doesn't really form sentences well. He has a hard time expressing what he wants to say. The other kids love him though. They say that he makes them laugh and he's a lot of fun. So in my class, algebra it's not easy, but it's not hard. Algebra is a lot about finding the unknown in real life situations. We use real life variables, real life problems, and we use numbers in them and we solve them. It's important because they will use it in real life. I know a lot of people say that they'll grow up and they will never use algebra again, but they will. They'll use it from budgeting to paying bills to calculating medicine dosages, banking. They will use it. But in our class, it's a year long. We have 4 quarters between at the beginning and the end, and we're in our first quarter now, coming up to the end of our first quarter. But in my classroom, we have bell work is 20% of the grade, homework is 20%, participation is 20%, and the tests and quizzes are 40%. And I don't really quiz them a lot, but I send home a study packet right before our big unit test, and I count that as one of the quiz grades in my class. So in this first quarter, it's mostly review, integers, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Not anything super hard. We're just going over and reviewing things. And so far the class has been doing really well. And I just wanted to quickly go over Jaren's grade book. He started off really positive. He started off really strong. He was doing really well, making great grades. We got to multiplication, and I think he struggled with it a little bit. He didn't turn in his homework assignment, and then from there, his homework assignments were late. His review packet was late, and I think he lost grasp of how well he was doing, and he got stuck and didn't ask me for help, and kind of slid down from there. So if you can see from the chart, I don't grade participation as harshly as the rest of them, because if he's in class and he's talking to his friends and they're working in a group, if he's doing it, he gets graded for it. But when he started not doing well on his assignments is when I noticed he stopped participating in the group projects as much. So the goals for Jaren in my class, I did sit and I spoke with him for a couple of minutes, and we listed a high goal, a low goal, and a realistic goal for him in my class. So the realistic goal is for him to get a B in my class, and he can get a B in my class. He's smart enough to get a B in my class. He just needs to know when to ask for help. and I would like for him to participate more in the group-centered activities, and I really would like for him to get his assignments turned in by the due date. His future goals is he wants to be a professional basketball player, and according to his friends, he's really good and probably could pull it off. The only thing with that is, in order to achieve that, he will need to really learn how to work on his social skills. In order for him to make it through high school and even in life, his social skills are a big thing, and I think that I have a strategy that will help with that. So the strategy that I wanted to suggest to help with him learning his lessons and his little things that he's not so confident in is an interactive notebook. They sell them. He can make one. He can make it as fun as he wants to, as colorful as he wants to, and he can learn a lot from it, and he can do it in his own time. I suggest 10 to 30 minutes extra a day outside of the classroom. I really believe it would benefit him. It would help him stay organized. It would help him take pride in his work because he's doing something that he's going to enjoy. I'm also always happy to meet with him after class, outside of class, and help him with that. So to assist with his social skills, I thought social scripts. And what it is it's different scripts for different situations for students with autism spectrum disorder. So what it'll do is he'll have a script for different situations. Like he'll have one for interacting with a friend at PE. It'll say something like, he'll walk up to a student and say, "Can I play with you?" or "Can I join your game?" And it'll show another student saying yes or no and how he should respond to it. And I think these are really important life skills because you really want to know how to interact with people. It's part of life. It's important. And the other thing that he struggles with was test taking. I think he had a really hard time staying focused, and he wasn't sure if he could move around or not. I think he was really uncomfortable during the first test. I think he did really well in the addition and subtraction and the integers part at the beginning. But again, where he stopped trying is when he stopped doing well on the test. So I suggest for his test taking a talking calculator, and he obviously can't do it during class time unless he would like to sit in a different room. But maybe it would be best for him to come in after class sometime on test day, or even during lunch if he'd like to. And then that way he wouldn't have so many distractions around him, and he could concentrate better, and he could use the calculator instead of trying to enter in what he wants to do. He could just speak it to the calculator, and the calculator would make sure everything was where it needed to be for him. So that's all that I wanted to talk to you about. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to call me anytime. I'm always open for suggestions. And if any of the suggested strategies you think would work for you, let me know, and I'm happy to implement them into his curriculum. Thank you so much for meeting with me.